You will be able to watch it again in case you have questions. Okay. All right, now I'm going to share my screen and go ahead and go into the system. Okay. Anyone wave if you cannot see my computer screen? Okay, everybody again. So I'm actually going to minimize this window that I can see you with, so I won't be able to see you till I'm done talking. And there will be lots of time for question and answer, and I won't go off until I've answered all the questions. So hang on with your questions and I'll get back to you, but I won't be able to see you till I'm done because I have to get this out of my way to do the tour. Okay, just a moment. Okay, so you should see a cool little red button, red wandy thing. All right, so we are very excited to bring you BSSM Equip. Janelle has been working on this for years and it's finally launched. Let me show you, go through a quick tour. It'll be about 12 or 13 minutes. And then, like I said, I'll take questions at the end. The first thing is, as you log in, this logo takes you back to the home page each time. So you see me do that a few times. The second thing are these buttons across the middle. The first one is a Get Started video, which is similar to what I'm going to go through today, but actually a little bit more detailed. Excuse me. So as you log in, you want to go ahead and watch that video. And then tutorials take you into more detail into certain things that teachers can do. The first thing that you should know is we do have 3 packages. One just for leaders, school leaders. The second for teachers to get all the curriculum. And the third, which is really the one that we think is the most valuable, and that is all the curriculum, plus you're able to create student accounts and enroll them in classes, in courses. So the tutorials help with that. Let's look at this What's New button. This button shows you, first of all, we'll see what's brand new in the system, and then we'll look at what is coming. So the first thing to know is all of the BSSM first year courses that were DVDs are now online, and they have updated summary notes. So if you were used to the course manuals before, those are just updated, and you can download them in each course, and I'll show you about that. The next thing is, this is brand new also. A lot of videos about that are drawn from the Converge conferences that we have here in Reading, where we have school leaders come from all over the world, and we have instruction and other time with them. So that's from that, and as well as some toolkits to help start up a school. We also filmed several courses last summer just for this. So these will be brand new. You've never seen them before if you had the DVDs before. The first group is on healing. These are from Chris Gore and Chuck Berry. Prophetic Culture from Ben Armstrong. And then we have several Bible courses. Revival Apologetics, this first one from one of my favorite teachers, talks about the different, as we know Holy Spirit manifesting in people, he goes through that sort of thing in the Bible, so people can really get used to that for those that really want to see where it is in the Bible. Women in Ministry, an awesome series. And then Loving the Word, that's great for students. And then our plan is every quarter we want to come out with more and more material. Right now, just in the first year classes and the summer classes together, we have over 170 videos. And then we'll be, as you can see here, we'll be adding second year videos within about a month or so. So that'll be another 110. So we'll have over 300, well, about 300 videos by the end of this quarter. And they'll have new summary notes with them. And then looking ahead to summer, we'll have more courses. For all of first year will be available with Spanish subtitles. By the way, I'll show you in a moment where you can change the language of the menus that you see on the system. That really helps us expand into different places. I noticed a couple of you are from Central America areas, so you can actually go in and switch the menus so you can see in your language. And it doesn't change the content though. That's why we're having to build that out. So we'll have Spanish subtitles and we'll have others after that. We'll have more courses and different things. And then more courses, you'll see. So all of those are what's coming up. You can see that at any time and we update those. And then this last button is if you have any questions about the system, even pricing or anything, but also support for the system, you just click that and you fill out the form and it comes to us and we'll help you out. Okay, looking across the top of the system, there's the home button right there. And then this is a menu. This takes you to a few different places, which I'll talk about in a little bit. You can search across the top. This is a dynamic search that brings up the courses. And if I were to click here, it would go straight into the course. Or you can click there to search. There's a messaging area, and then the admin area for teachers, which I'll show you in a bit. As we go across the top of the screen here, so I didn't finish my my thought earlier. We do have 3 packages. The last one is teachers and students together. You have the capabilities to do that. Everyone that has a trial account is set up with that 3rd package. So this, you're seeing an account that is set up just like yours. It has the capabilities to create new students and enroll students in courses and manage that. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. But as you enter the system, you'll see these 2 links. This first one is the last course that was into and what percentage I'm completed with. So if I click there, it would go straight into the course. And this one is for the last learning plan that I was in, and I'll talk about those in just a moment, what a learning plan is. As I go down the left side of the page, you can see the 2 different sets of curriculum. First, the school leader training, so that's these sets of courses, and then the BSSM curriculum, which right now is just first year, but it's divided into several categories. You can see it starts with Bible, identity, intimacy, and if I scroll down, you can see the courses listed: Bible, identity, intimacy, kingdom culture, etc. And they go for about 5, and then you could view the whole group if you click there. One of the things that Janelle thought was really important is there are so many courses. We want to help you really narrow your search to help your students, to really give them ideas. For example, in identity, there's even subcategories. So if I clicked on renewing the mind, this is actually a search and not just a listing up here. So I click on renewing the mind. So now identity is the major category. So you go down here and these are all the courses that come up that are for renewing the mind. And you can see the rest of them here. So you see that was kind of a search as well. So let's go into a course and I'll show you about that. Possessing your prophetic destiny. So this is a typical course. You can see this whole area here is reserved for the videos. So I clicked here. Let's start the video. And there is, that's an old shot of Steve Backlund. So in addition to the videos, excuse me, that you can go through, you can change the video screen so it's full size if you do want to with that button. Excuse me, but with every BSM provided course, there are review questions and activations. Again, if you're used to the student manuals, those were in the manuals before. But if you're not, these are review questions that apply to this course. So for the student, they would go in and it's actually a quiz. What is the purpose of getting the fire of God, keeping and spreading it? And they would type in here, and then as an instructor of that you enrolled them in the course, you could actually see their answers and evaluate them if you want to. Okay, and we're back out of that. And the activation is the same kind of thing, different questions, but designed to help activate the student in that. And small groups share a personal promise from God and a prophetic word, and they could keep track in there. So again, if we went here, that would be the video area. Thanks, Steve. So we have 3 different parts to this course. In addition, if you scroll down, there's the description of the course and who the teacher is. When I do the search up here, I could actually search by author or course title. If I clicked on this summary notes, I could download a PDF, and that has a full outline of the course, and you can either use that to pass out to your students or just as a teacher's guide as well. And that's a typical course for the BSSM provided courses. So I'm going to go back to the home page. So I'm going to go down the right side now. So the first thing you'll see is another learning plan, is a learning plan. So if I click on this, if you can think of a course think that it's a particular topic, a learning plan is kind of a particular theme. So you can see this one is my tutorial videos, and there are multiple actual videos and courses inside of here. Like for example, we're using Zoom right now. You can learn more about how to use Zoom by clicking that. So this is a series of courses rather than just one. You can put them together like that. And then as you scroll down the right side, it was important for Chris Valentin's vision of this, that it is not simply a single-dimensional platform that just provides the library of courses, although that's important. But also, we have these learning communities, and let me describe what that is. This first one is called the Global Teacher Community. So any of the teachers in the system, and right now we have over 100 schools signed up, any of the teachers can post articles that they are interested in or videotape something that they think is very interesting, and put it in there and get comments from the other teachers. There's a testimony area, so all the schools can update testimonies and put them in there. It's a great way to encourage the students. So this first one that says teacher community, any students that are created would not get access to this. It would just be teachers. And then global testimony is teachers and students. And then my account that's set up to show you here is created in the link to a school called Sample School. So here you see the Sample School community, Sample SSM, and here both teachers and students just within the school could post things and comment on them, and I can show you more about that. But that's one dimension, another dimension of what you see we're trying to do. This is not designed to be an online school, but we are trying to build online communities so you can support each other and have as many tools as you can at your fingertips. I'll talk about Zoom in a little while also. So going back across the top, some of these other features, we just talked about community learning. So if I clicked on there, you could actually see the different communities and the different articles that are built in there. So here's one with Bill talking about the power of the testimony. So if we could watch that, and then if we wanted to, we could post a question to a leader or comment on the posting. So the other dimension to the platform is you can ask leaders. In this case, the testimony community is linked to us. So any questions that you would post about testimonies or students would post would come back to us and we would answer them. And that brings me to my next area. Not only can you ask questions in relating to those different postings like a video or the file, but also you can just post a general question, either a student or a teacher. Those can come back to us. If, they are related to the communities. So if I posted a question, you would type the question here, and then you would select which channel it goes for. So if you selected testimony, those will come back to us. The teacher community is open for anyone to answer that's a teacher. And then the Samples SSM community, I actually have that set up. Each of you have it set up for your schools, and you are actually signed up as leaders for that particular community. So it would go to you, so you could answer them in this area like this that says question and answers. Okay, let's see what else is in here. Okay, so we did community learning, we did question and answer. So 2 of the dimensions that we've talked about, or actually 3, the different layers, if you will, rather than dimensions. One is definitely a lot of material. We're going to be continually building that over time. We'll also be surveying you to see what you need to provide the best material going forward. The second is, you saw these communities. These are areas where all of you can share ideas or ask questions. And as I said, the question area is the third. And then the other part that I'm really excited about is the thing that we're using now, and that is Zoom. Zoom is a powerful internet webinar tool. I'm actually using it to record. When we're done, it'll actually be an MP4 file, a video file, and I could upload it and actually create it as a course if I wanted to. I'll show you how that works in just a minute. But Zoom has a lot of capabilities. I'll talk about that when I'm done in just a second here. So let me cover one more area. This is the administrative area for a teacher. So in here, you can go in and create a new student. And all of these are the students that I've created for the sample school. If I wanted to create a new one, I would just click here and go through and fill these things in. And again, the videos, the tutorial videos help you do that. After I created students, I can also go in with courses. Here's the entire list of the BSSM courses and the ones that I've created. So what you could do then is create a course of your own as well. So some people get confused on this, so I want to go back to this. These are the list of the courses I've created, and then you have access to all the BSSM courses. So if I was going to enroll students in a course that already exists, like a BSSM course, the way I would do it, I can go in here. There's actually a few ways, but I can go in here. I can say enroll users, click on users. So I could click these two users that are set up in my school and then choose, I could search up here and then choose different courses like Born to Rule and the Ways of Royalty. When I select the courses to enroll the students in, I can arrange whatever dates I want. So in this case, the default is it's active today, but I can change that. I can make it active in the future and until a certain date or no dates at all. But the dates are really efficient for, let's say you have the summer off and you want to plan out what you want to show the students during the year and you don't want to really use the time up during the year to worry about that. You could set up all of these for the whole school year. So you could have this be active sometime in the fall for a month and then the next set for a month, etc. All that you wanted to do. And so once you, oh, let's do that again. All right, so from paupers to prince and the ways of royalty, it's this easy to just get in there, and then I hit next. And actually you see it's complete. So what happens is when you first create the student account, they can't see any courses. When you enroll them in a course, that's when they have visibility. So you completely control what they see. And then if you actually wanted to create your own course, you would go back into courses, say new course, and I'll just create a quick one for you here. Choose a cool thumbnail. So I have the frame of a course now, and I want to add the training material, and that happens right here. Oops, yep. So what you can see is there's lots of different training materials. So I'm actually going to create my own course that only students in my school could see. I could upload a video from my desktop, or I can link to a YouTube file. I could upload a PDF. I can do an assignment type of material, and that is, there's a button that they can upload a whole book report if you want to, and then you could see it as a teacher. There's a ways to load PowerPoints. You can put HTML in. You can launch surveys, and you can have tests. Now, you saw in a regular BSSM course that we had review questions, and activations. I actually created those as tests in each of those, and there's a lot of different ways you can do tests in here, and I go into more of that in the tutorials. In addition, I just want to briefly show you, I can create a group and put all my students in. Let's say I have a large school and I don't want to choose each student each time, or I have multiple years. I can put them all in certain groups, and then when I enroll courses, I can say enroll the group rather than the student, so that makes it more helpful. And another power of the system are these reports. My favorite one is this branches view, branches dashboard. So we're going to look at this, and what I'm going to do is this is school planning, so that's everybody. I'm going to actually drill down to my school, which is our sample school. And there it is. I have 25 students enrolled. This is the number of courses they've completed, and this is in progress. Let's go look at the ones that are in progress. Here are all the users. Here's when they were enrolled. Here how much time they spent in the video. If they completed it, it would be here. So you can see at a glance what's going on in your school. In addition, if you set yourself as an instructor for the course, and I talk about that in my tutorials, you could actually click on each one of these and see what they've completed as their review questions, and actually evaluate it too, and give them feedback. So let's go back to the home page. Okay, so now what I want to do is go back to, oops, stop sharing, which was down here. Okay, so if you want to unmute, you can ask me any question you like. Before we do that, though, I do want to talk about Zoom. Zoom is so powerful. First of all, you can just use it. I wouldn't even have to be on the internet, and I could use it with my little laptop and my camera right here to actually create a video. So maybe I want to create a video of a course that I'm actually teaching in my school, and then load it up, and I would have that for next year. Part of what we really want to emphasize is the power of having these things during the week. So for example, many of the schools are part-time. You might meet once a week. So during the week, you could actually assign the videos as homework. And then at the class time, you could actually concentrate that class time into talking about it and learning more about it, activating the students, doing worship, whatever you want to do, but you don't have to waste the time watching a video in a lecture. So you can assume they know it coming in. But in addition, if you filmed your own courses, you could do that for the following year or a different quarter with different students and have them watch during the week, and then you'd have that at the end. So it really makes it efficient. There's so many more capabilities to Zoom. There's actually a thing in here where I could click and it would put all of you in smaller groups. So you can do that. So to have private meetings. So another idea that you could use this for is, let's say you had 20 students in your school, and on the weekend you all met as the big group, but you would like them to meet during the week in a smaller group, like in a set of 4 people at a time. You could use Zoom and actually have them meet, and so they don't have to gather anywhere, and yet they still have the close connection when they come in together on the weekends. One more really big advantage that I love is at BSSM we have hundreds of pastors, and they travel all over the world, as you guys know. Well, this is an opportunity that not only you or maybe the churches you're associated with, or maybe schools around you or other people could have lecturers actually come in on a Zoom meeting, so they don't have to travel, and you could do it on their time. You could have the students come into a live meeting and record it and use that as a class. And if they can't get to it, you can still show it to them later. So it really makes it very powerful. One of the things we're really going to emphasize, especially probably starting this summer, is more of this community. Like, wouldn't it be great to have like you guys are teachers and you can talk about different things going on. We want to emphasize that we're going to be giving away a pro account of Zoom to everybody with package 3. And then we'll have these kinds of meetings regularly. Not only will Janelle be on them and can teach more about schools, maybe we'll have a guest speaker, but also you guys will be together, and we want to emphasize that. And that's the other part, in community. So that's Zoom as well. Okay, so that's a whole lot of stuff. Let me just open it up to questions. Try to just be polite and we'll just go. No questions. Hard to believe. Nothing. Wow, quiet group.
What if we have questions later on? So I'm probably going to start thinking of things that, oh, what about this? Can we email you guys? How does that work?
Yeah, on that help button on the system, you can always put whatever you want in there and we'll respond to those. Yep. The other thing you guys should know is this is the last of the webinars on the intro to the system. At the end of the month, we'll have another series of webinars. So you can ask questions about pricing or how you're going to get subscribed or those kinds of things. Your accounts will expire at the end of the month, so you'll have to decide something by then. But we will have, and also to let you know, by the way, as you subscribe at the end of the month, I will be having definitely kickoff meetings and regular meetings to invite everybody in. If you have questions on how to use the system, or if you're stuck with a certain thing, I'll be doing these live just like this. And I can actually, if you're logged on, I could actually see your screen and take it over and help you do something or show you. So that's another option with Zoom. Other questions?
No.
Oh, there's got to be questions.
So if you sign up, you can sign up anytime.
After the end of this month, yes.
And what happens if your school goes into financial crisis and you can't make the payment?
You can stop and start the subscription at any time. We're really trying to encourage schools to stay on all year, and the reason is not only are we building up this community, you can have LinkedIn with other teachers and things, but probably since most of the schools also are off in the summer, we're going to try to think about some other programs to do over the summer. So we are really trying to build a lot of value in your ability to stay on. In addition, we're always adding new courses to add value to what's going on in there. You can always cancel and come back in. Everything that you create in this new trial or when you sign up, if you then discontinue, is still there. We don't kill anybody's account. We just would take you off of access for a while. The other thing too, that we think, at least in a minimal size school, we liked package 3 so much because let's say, I think the first one is $299 for 25 students. Let's call it, just for round numbers, $250. It's $299, but I'm going to call it $250. So if you added $10 or used $10 of a monthly fee from the students, it would pay for the system. And it's really actually a huge library of content. We're going to be doing live speakers. We're going to be doing all kinds of things. We'd like to have a really good way for you to spread out the cost of this over your school. We think even in a small school, it's going to be very valuable. And actually, we think it's going to be actually a very good marketing tool to draw your students in as well. They will absolutely get the best from you guys. But then if you have, if you're like me, I'm really good in certain areas from school. I'm kind of my specialty is in healing. But prophetic and evangelism, I would love some help on that so I can bring other people in. So you really get rounded education, plus the interactive capabilities of the different system and the community. So we're really trying to get it going. Other questions? All right, while you're thinking of stuff, I'm also I will be trying to lobby Janelle a little bit. For those that are starting a school soon, I want to try to get her to do a boot camp maybe over the summer where maybe she'll do multiple weeks of actually talking about how do you get a school going. She has all of that in the course material and the school leader training, but she is really a good expert at helping with that. And in addition, we could have other schools contribute and say, how they got things going, and you could ask them as well. So different things like that. Any other questions?
I have one. So in our area, a lot of the older plug into, especially the earlier version of the BSSM, schools on CD and things like that. And maybe this is just something Holy Spirit's going to have to show us, but I might as well ask you. Anything for maybe expanding that? Like, we're right next to a university. There's tons of people our age. Our city is changing drastically, but are there any tools for reaching out in that way, going past the circles that we know? Does that make sense? For students,
a little bit. You were cutting in and out of there, but I think what you were asking was there's audiences around you and different generations that you'd like to be able to connect to. I think actually the more that you could promote this on your own website and then in person, you could run one of these videos, stream it from online and show them in a demo. I mean, you can have example days and things like that. They're completely available. We are hoping in a few months to get an actual mobile version of this from our vendor that we're using. So that's going to be available too. But this really is emerging. So instead of, you guys are very powerful in your own small sets of schools, and you're a community school. But this allows you to branch into the heartbeat of 100 other schools and BSSM together. It really is it's really a marketable tool. Okay, so while you're thinking of other questions, I actually like to poll you guys. If you have things that are really standing out on what your favorite thing is on the system, I'd like to get some feedback on that, and that'll help Janelle and I on what we're doing on the system. Okay, do you have any feedback on that? What seems exciting to you?
Just everything. I think I like everything. I mean, training, it's going to be so helpful to get started. So helpful. But also, yeah, at the same time, also to be able to interact with students, to set up like accounts with them and interact with them during the week, even when maybe on an off day. Or I mean, I think it's so helpful. It's like you thought of everything. Like I think everything is great. And I think the reason we don't have many questions, it just seems it's so easy to use.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it seems super easy to use. I kind of went through the page by myself, and it was just easy to go everywhere.
Okay, you get a gold star. That was one of the things I was really trying to shoot for. There's quite a bit of functionality on the system, and we tried to really simplify it down to just what we needed. With that goal in mind, to make it simple. We realized that there's a lot of different capabilities around the world, so we wanted to make that. But I love the idea too that, BSSM itself is very much focused on its worldwide students, but mostly English speaking. And I think we can actually have the capability to branch out into non-English speaking communities the more that we develop the other languages. Yep, excited.
Yeah, excited.
Global Legacy just got done using Zoom to do global leadership training with leaders from around the world, and they did about 10 people at a time and leaders, and they would have BSSM pastors leading each one of those classes. And the cool thing was they could do the videos that they had set up for them. They could have this intimate time where they could actually have back and forth like this, and leaders didn't have to travel. They really loved it. And then the other part that was kind of interesting about that was most of the applicants that they were training in this last set were from Russia. So they had the menus in Russia, they had the courses ready with subtitles in Russian, and they were able to reach that audience. So I'm really excited about that as well. Other comments about the system? More gold stars are available.
I haven't really had a chance to play with the system yet. I went out to the a conference in San Diego where Bill Johnson was supposed to be last week. So I've just now gotten back, and
He wasn't there?
wasn't there. They said there was a medical emergency in his family.
Yeah, I know about that. We're not supposed to
Right.
go too much public about that, but
Yeah, but he sent us 2 books for every person that was at the.
oh my goodness.
Uh,
Yeah, everything actually turned out okay, and I'd love to tell you, but
That's what they
not
said.
really supposed to. Yeah.
Just that much. So anyway, so that took away a week of, when I could have had time to play with this, but.
I think if you're, I like actually this number and even a little bit bigger in each of the webinars, because even if you guys haven't played with the system, you can get some feedback from some of the others, and you see how simple it is to use. The community area is a little bit more complex than simple, so we're going to really try to work on that. But really, it's simple. It really, I think those schools especially that in the past have relied on the DVD series, we take that and then just go to a whole new level. We want to make it more live someday. So this is Dave talking. Someday, I think we'll have live classes, even with BSSM, and have live students from around the world in those classes at the same time, and then record those. I mean, so you have interaction with the teachers. I mean, it really, we're starting to take the school to another level, and we want to bring your schools. You're actually the first wave of that. So we really love where we're headed.
So how many videos you think you should assign for each week? One or more? Or
all of them. Yeah, that's actually an interesting question. One of the teachers asked an interesting question. They said, so if we enroll our students to take a certain number, like one course a week, and that they can go through the video and see it, but sometimes they have students that are really hungry and studious academics, you could assign that particular student, like let's say one of those categories was identity, and that was what you were studying this week. You could let them see the whole range of identity courses and let them go on their own, but you're just tracking the other one. So it has the capabilities to help teachers really individually serve the different students' needs. I think it's really powerful. And I think the closer we get to more and more involvement with all of you together and having more speakers and more live conferences and things like that. Have any of you been to the Converge conference the last 3 years?
I've been the last 3 years.
You've been each one. Wow.
I just bought the DVDs. I wasn't there, but I bought them from last year.
Oh, okay. So those courses are in that section too, also, by the way.
Oh.
But I think so half of the value for people coming to Converge, I think, is getting the direct training. But I think the other half is you're able to talk to other teachers from around the world and find out, okay, so I've been trying this, is this working? Or I have questions about this, or this is really great that I'm doing. Would you like to know about that? That is what we're trying to bring also to this platform and this experience. So I think it really is not just equipping with a library of courses, but also directly with different people's interactions.
Yes, totally. I think that's super valuable to be able to stay connected as teachers, to receive also like input from others, and I think that's super valuable, so we don't get like discouraged or whatever. So I think that's super, super valuable, because we are just being encouraged by the testimonies and what God's doing everywhere else.
I love the idea too that using Zoom really, I know all the schools, there isn't one that I know of except the really big ones, right? BSSM is the biggest, but there are big ones in Texas and other areas. But almost all the schools are resource strapped, right? So if you have 2 or 3 teachers and they're trying to teach everything, what if you could get, if there's a school in your region and you just get them to Zoom in one weekend or have a different school that your students could connect to maybe once every other month online just for half an hour, and just what are the testimonies and share and really see what's going on. Plus you can actually, as the teachers, you could interact with other schools and find out other information. I really am excited about using the internet for this.
Yay. Yes, yes, yes.
I mean, really, we know of more than 500 schools around the world, and we've tapped into 100 so far. So we're going to keep expanding and driving into that. We want to get everybody moving. And whatever you need, we're going to try to provide. Other questions, comments?
The breakdown, is it the first 20 students or is it first 25 students is a certain price?
So for each package, you get 3 admin accounts, or real accounts that that you're paying for, and then with the first package in the highest set, it's 0 to 25 students, and then I think it goes 26 to 50, 51 to 75, and upwards of that.
So if you have 26, then you have to pay that extra $100 a month, right?
I'm officially not in charge of pricing for this very reason. Contact us. I don't know. That's kind of going to be up to Janelle. One of the ways you could help that is if you only had one teacher account, you could use one of the teacher accounts as a student. I mean, so there's a lot of things you can do.
It was my understanding on the teacher's account, it was just that only, because we've got more than 3 teachers, but only 3 people can be on there at one time, right?
Well, I can set 3 of you up as administrators that can do what I just showed you, that can create courses and can create students. You could actually have a student account that you create be one of your teachers and make them, I can show you, not now, but in a tutorial, you can actually promote them to be an instructor, which means they get to see students' homework. But they can't create student accounts and things. So you could use one of your student accounts to be one of those people. I can show all those different kinds of things and how to do that. But yeah, the 3 is kind of a thing we thought we'd capture most everybody with that. But I think there are ways to get around it as well. So I actually think they're probably, even if you have 4 or 5 teachers, I'm guessing that 2 or 3 of them aren't going to want to do the part where you create students and courses and all that. You might even only have 1 person actually doing that, and you set up 2 more to actually be instructors, and maybe you could use the rest as student accounts and then promote them to instructors.
You set them up as a student, but then you're saying you promote them as instructor by...
Yeah, in the system, there's different levels of permissions, right? So I am a super user. I can do everything on the system. I've created these, what I call in package 3, student accounts. They're actually power users that can do a lot of those other things that I showed you on that menu. And then what happens is when you create a student account, it has very limited access, but you can actually go in, let me see if I can do that quick. So if I go over here and edit, okay, well, let's do something else. So let's say I'm enrolling a student. Let's see if this works. I haven't played around too much with this, but I know we can do it. Let's put them in this course. Okay, so see right here, I can make the person that I'm enrolling in this class a learner, which is a student, which means they just get to watch it. I can make them an instructor, which means they can watch it and they can see other students' homework and things. And I'm not really sure what tutor does, but it's going to be along those same kind of lines. So my point with that is the real, the accounts that we track, the 3, what we call teacher accounts or admin accounts, are the ones that can do all the stuff that I showed you today. The student accounts, if you promote them to instructor in a course, they would essentially be like a teacher, but they just couldn't create other student accounts and create their own courses. Is that kind of clear?
So they couldn't just go in and watch a lot of things as an instructor?
You could go,
Or-
you could go you could go and say either as a learner or instructor and enroll them in the entire catalog if you wanted to, right? You just say all and put them in, and then they could see all of them. So you can kind of create your own full listed higher than student kind of account. Yes.
Okay.
Other
Okay.
questions or comments? So let me ask each of you while I'm waiting for trying to stir up some more questions in you. If you had to choose right now, which level of account would you choose? So Marisol, what are you thinking about? Or
Oh, I think I would choose first just the training to train the teachers maybe for a month, and then as we start the school, I think I definitely get the third one, the teacher and student curriculum.
that makes sense to start with the lower one and get the teacher's training out of that. And in the
Training
meantime,
first.
you still have
Mhm.
access to the community and all of our online stuff that we're doing.
Mhm.
Denise, are you thinking about the third package?
Yes.
And you already have a school going though, right?
Yes.
Okay. Mercedes, which one are you thinking about?
I think we'd probably do the same as Marisol, just kind of like do the training and then move into the student one. But I like the third package a lot.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Yep. Okay. And the Clothies?
I get the third package immediately. I love that you can do. So if I want to do a supernatural ways of royalty, course over a month or something, because we already have a supernatural school going on in the area, and it kind of just needs to be revamped. So it's fantastic. This is great.
One of the things we're encouraging, so this thing about the summer keeps coming up, both for how the schools finance it, but also what they can use the system for over the summer. One of the things that we routinely do, as you guys that know that have been through BSSM, between first and second year, they get summer homework. So you could actually assign certain courses that they would have to watch over the summer. You could actually see that they did it. You could have review questions and maybe not meet with them, but if they ask questions about the course, you could see them come up on the system and you could respond to them. And all the different things that we're going to be doing to train teachers and get schools ready over the summer as well will be important to be signed up during the summer. Yep, that sounds great. Okay, we'll give just a couple. Oh, good. Yay. It's really hard to gauge, I was so excited when so many signed up for April, and then now we're like, okay, well, really we'll see how people are excited at the end of the month. But we're trying to cover all the bases. We're trying to do the best job possible with support and teaching you how to use it. I'm going to be available during the month of May for sure to help everybody set up whatever they need to do. We're going to be loading up the summer with different things that we in the system. We're just going to start the ground running. I do realize, and Janelle and I both realize, that the end of the summer will be much more active. But what we'd like to do is, I would rather not have the schools wait till the end of the summer to sign up, because then they have to go through a flurry of really trying to understand the system and get going, and they'll probably miss out a lot. The summer is really good for, here's this whole course on, like, for example, those courses, the new ones that you saw, for those that have just recently come out of BSSM, Rich Schmidt teaches those, and the ones about the women in ministry or the one about revival apologetics, you could have them go through those during the summer. Fascinating courses, and actually a lot of the schools that are giving me feedback say they use course material for their own training, and then they make up ways to teach that course so they don't have to use the whole thing. That's great too, but you have access to all of them. Yeah. All right, I'm going to ask, since you guys are my last group, I'm going to ask one more question. If you had to pick maybe a category of topics, maybe not a specific thing, like my experience is in healing. So if you said, well, how do you, not so precise like how have you seen healing in cancer, right? But healing is what I'm looking for as an answer. So if you had to focus more on what you needed, more course material or one-on-one training from leaders, what topic would it be? So Marisol, let's start with you.
For teachers, you mean? Or topic in general?
In your school.
In high school. I think identity.
Identity.
Identity breaks off, so much. Like it just advances you. I think, it's just like the foundation, and I just see the need for that. Just identity, like completely identity. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And Mercedes, what do you think?
I too would do identity, especially within our culture and what we deal with down here in mindsets. Identity would be a huge shifter for us.
Wow. Denise, what do you think?
Well, when I went to Converge, they were talking about that the first year they totally focus on identity. But I don't know that the first year I was in school that my teachers focused on that. So I am excited to see that there are those listed, because I haven't really been in charge of planning the curriculum. And even to go back and look at all those old DVDs, if there really was a long section on identity or not. I mean, we spent like 10 weeks on the prophetic, all these different prophetics that Chris Valentin had. And I think we're focusing on that versus identity. So I'm kind of excited to have this set up like that with those topics that you could go and pull those.
Wow. Okay. And Clothies?
I'm from here, so it's like ingrained in me, I guess, what we're up against. Here it's I guess it's a specific form of identity in that it's the simplicity and the foundation of the relationship with the Lord. More of like like beginning of it all, kind of Abrahamic posture of, hey, no, at the bottom of all this, like all the glory chasing, all of the weight with the gifts, it's really a desperate need for, hey, but he's just wonderful. You know what I mean?
So
like,
good.
and not just loving him because that's what makes them safe or saved, but that ability to really hone in on the wonder and the awe of who he is and who he made you to be, and the fact that you actually get to have that. I think that is really needed in the South for sure.
Wow. That is the most surprising collection of answers I would have guessed. I would not have guessed at that. I would have guessed, we're really seeking prophetic breakthrough or evangelism or something. But wow, that's really good. I guess that's kind of the foundational thing, huh?
Yeah.
Identity, intimacy. God is good.
Yeah.
He's a good dad. That's what's needed.
There's one course I'm really going to ask Janelle to try to get, and that's I don't know if you guys know Leslie Crandall, but she does this this mini course on connecting with the Holy Spirit. Crazy good. It actually helps with your identity too. But yeah, that kind of stuff.
Out of we came back from Converge. I think there were 8 of us that came from our school to Converge this last time, which was so exciting to have the majority of our teachers there. And her talk on vulnerability at Converge, we're still talking about that. Yeah, that is so important.
I think that's the other thing is, even if there is a larger school and you're even full-time, well, I don't know of actually any full-time schools other than BSSM here, but the revival group pastors that are here are in it every day. And to actually get them and to be able to ask them things, maybe they aren't like complete experts in an area, but they deal with so much more concentrated stuff that it's so good to glean off of them. That's why, some of those in the school leadership training area is those panels that they go through. But I love hearing from them. And my favorite thing is to actually be able to talk to them. That's why the other reason Janelle does a lot right now. Her monthly chats are in Facebook Live, and you get to type back and have questions that way, and maybe some of them don't get answered. But actually like this, or having even 20 people interact and be able to ask questions directly, huge. That same way, I actually, that concept of the converge atmosphere, I totally want to bring that to all of the schools like this.
Yes, I have a question actually. Now, what do you, because I asked this before, what is I'm not sure exactly what do you do in revival groups. Is that in the training? Is that question answer in the teacher's training?
Now let's go see.
I'm just guessing activations and different kind of activities, but like I've never been to BSSM. I graduated from a supernatural school here in Guadalajara, but we didn't do revival groups, so I'm not familiar.
Yeah, the whole community idea, I've heard the school leaders all the way down to Chris and everybody talk about the hardest thing to export from BSSM is the actual culture and the community. So I think this school culture one, yeah, there are going to be a few courses in there. The panels that they did with the different RG leaders, I love those. I think, I mean, Denise, did you like the panels that were?
Yeah, they were amazing. Yeah, it made me wish we did revival group. I mean, and we got to participate in revival groups. And the second year I went, man, the prophetic that I received from that revival group was just amazing.
So, and it's Marisol, an answer to your question is these are, so our first year in BSSM, there's about 1,200 students. They're divided into groups of 60 apiece, and they call those revival groups. Yes. And then there's a pastor that leads that, but there's also, he has a team of maybe 4, 5, or 6 third years that help him do that. And then they really try to build community over the year. So not only are they getting teaching and understanding about identity and learning the things, but also they're tying together, because that's a skill that as we go out, as equipped supernatural students, we want to have that skill to be able to connect with people and really go deeper in a safe area. So in addition, in that revival group of 60, they break down that into small groups of 4 apiece, and then they really try to get tight communities built. The hard part is at the end of the year, because you're breaking up that community. So
wow, yeah.
So it's where they are vulnerable about the stuff that they're dealing with, and
you get to transform the students, but also they get to learn how to do that, right? Yeah, build relationship. But a lot of our first year, Mark talks a lot about, and it's really kind of undoing some of our mindsets and then rebuilding them. But the community is a safe area. One of the things that I was most surprised in my first year, I think it was Chris, was doing a lecture on connection to the Father. And he kind of related it to a natural connection with your parents. And just like your schools, understand that the context is these are on fire, Jesus-loving Christians from all over the world. And he asked, okay, if anybody is having trouble with that connection, stand up. And almost half the class went for that. It is amazing. So you find these kinds of things, and they're able to connect on that level. Yeah, it's oof.
Yeah, I think I really want to dig more into that and learning how to do revival group, how to build that up. I need to ask more questions, maybe. I don't know.
Well, and my guess is if we, as part-time schools, have them watch the DVD, then the time we spend together with them is more like a revival group.
Exactly. I think in my view, not only your schools, but also I'm hoping someday in BSSM, they start some of the classes to go to this too, because I think the value is not just in a pure lecture, but it's in the questions and really getting to know the material and having, understanding and really having more of a dialogue with the teacher rather than, just having the pure lecture. So if they were able to see the lectures during the week, and you came, so let's say one of the lectures is on supernatural royalty, right? And then they come in on Saturday, if that's when you have school, and you say, all right, you guys watch this, here are some of the key points. What were you really stirring about? And you get some interactive thought. I think that's way more powerful teaching than a pure lecture, and then you just move on. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, I want to honor everybody's time. Anybody think of any last questions?
I guess my only hope would be that for this first summer, before we have the money coming in the fall, is there any way to kind of make this cheaper for this summer only?
Yeah, that's a perfect question for Janelle. I officially will not touch those questions. We talk about that. I think on one hand, I think especially you, Denise, would be familiar with the cost of the actual DVDs, and we want to have a price point where there's still value, and we're actually to provide money for filming and things like that we need. But also, there has to be a balance, because actually, I think the reach out into the communities and building and being able to develop this this community of schools is important too. So there's this kind of balance in between. I don't know the answer to that, so we'll ask Janelle and see what she says. When I think I already said, I've done a few of these now, so I'm losing track, but I think I already told you guys that at the end of the month, we'll be having a follow-up and to talk more specifically about pricing and how you get on the system and those kinds of things. So that would be a great question, and we'll be ready for that one at the end of the month.
Okay. My guess is this is going to be put on a credit card. Is that how you're going to pay for it?
Yeah,
Somebody's credit card.
It'll be a monthly charge on a credit card. Yep.
Okay.
We'll put it all on Marisol's credit card. That's how you can do it, you know.
Yeah. Well, God will provide. I'm
there
so
you
sure
go.
of that. God will provide everything you need and even more.
Yay. Yay. See,
Yay.
that's the right answer.
Yes.
Okay. Nice to see your bright, smiley faces. I was honored to be a part of you guys today. You will get the link back to this video, and actually there's at least 15 more people that signed up that weren't in here. So we'll send that out. Any questions, please click that help button. Know that we are still in trial period. Know that anything you build will stay there. You have your specific school community build up for you. Go ahead and put things in there. If you guys want to add testimonies to the testimony area, that would be awesome. We're trying to really build that up as well. Okay, have a great night.
Have you already added 3 teachers for each school for this temporary thing, or will that come once this?
We added whoever was requested. We haven't put over 3 for any school, but if you requested 3, we put them in there, yeah.
Okay, I don't know what my school has as who's down.
Kitty looks like he's going to pounce on you there. He's ready to go.
Start going into my hair, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you find out who is listed for our school, or?
I certainly can. I'll go to my cool little admin view here. Maybe. Here we go. What's the name of your school?
TSSM.
I'm sorry, I've missed the beginning. What is it?
TSSM, Transformation School of Supernatural Ministry.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Where's my little, oh, I can't see it there. So T is in Thomas, right?
Yes.
You can see we have quite a few schools. TVSSM, right?
No, it should just be TSSM. Unless it's listed as Transformation School of Supernatural Ministry.
Well, let me do it differently. What are you are signed up though, right?
Yes.
What's your email address?
Denise.alkire, ALKIRE.
There you are.
I sent this to some of the other leaders, but I don't know if anybody else is logged on or not.
Yeah, I'll be able to tell you in just a minute here. Transformational School of Supernatural Ministry. All right. Let's look for that one. You're the only one.
Okay.
Okay.
So the email that you sent me, I could forward that to them and they can use that login and then create their own accounts, right?
If you sent via the help, I can maybe create a couple more for you, or you can create student accounts for them. Either way, so they can get in. Right now, they don't have access. I don't have any information about them to set them up.
Okay. So log them as students and then give them all access to
Sure.
everything.
Yep. Or let me know and I'll set them up with your access as well.
Okay. So can I tell you that now, or do you?
So on the front page of the site, that help button, click on there and it's an email form. Just email what you need in there and I'll get back to you on that.
Okay. All
Okay.
right.
Anybody else? Thanks for hanging in there so long, guys. Any other questions? Oh, go ahead.
I have a question. Would it be okay if I give a prophetic word over this platform right now?
Fire it up.
Yay.
Denise, would it be all right if I give you a prophetic word?
Sure.
Okay. I just saw the school in Abilene, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I saw a root system go down into the ground, and I saw roots begin to go out. And I just believe that grace is coming. God is releasing grace, and he's really beginning to do something. And he's digging down deep to establish a very deep root system that's going to water. I just don't believe the area, Texas, but it's going to water the nations. And so I want you to know that's what the Lord's doing, and that's the heart, and that's what you're carrying out. So there's resources and things coming and people coming on side, and the Lord's going to move on the hearts of the people around. And I also see, not just the people around there, there's people to be equipped with God's heart and mission and be sent out from that place in Jesus' name.
Awesome. So Denise, you can send that out to your school leaders after I send you the link.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, everybody be blessed, and we're going to fire this up.
Yay.
Thank
Have
you.
a great night.
Thank you so much, David. Good
Thanks
night.
for attending. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.